The question that is asked today is, can a tame may someone who is defiled, someone who has a level of tuma, which is just about everybody today, since we don't have the para aduma, we don't have ways to matar ourselves. So the question is, bisman hazeh, in our day, is it permitted to walk on the Temple Mount? Is it permitted to go up on by the Harabayas? So what is this question dependent on? When the Beis HaMikdash was standing, we had the walls, we had the temple. Everyone agrees, they know there are different laws that were in effect. The question is, Bisman Hazeh, nowadays, when we no longer have a temple, we no longer have a Beis HaMikdash, is one permitted to walk on the Temple Mount? So this seems to be a major machlokas harishonim. On one hand, you have the sheet of the Rambam and the Bali Tosfos. On the other hand, you have the opinion of the Ravid. So let's discuss with the opinion of the Rambam and the Bali Tosfos. So the Rambam and Bali Tosfos agree to the bottom line, but they have totally different ways of explaining it. So the Gemara in many places talks about Kedushas Haaretz, Kedushas HaMikdash, and the two separate issues. There's when Yoshua came into Eretz Yisrael, when Ezra came into Eretz Yisrael, they were Makadish the land. And that's a discussion in the Gemara whether it was Kidsha L'Shaisa or Kidsha L'Yasagava. When they sanctified the land, was it temporary or permanent? And then there's a separate sugya, a separate topic in the Gemara regarding Kedushas HaMikdash. Now that the Beis HaMikdash is destroyed, does the sanctity of the Beis HaMikdash remain? So those are two different issues, and one can come to different conclusions. In fact, many do. Some say today the Kedushas Haaretz we don't have for different reasons. Even when you need Bias Kulchem, you need the whole majority of Klal Yisrael living in Eretz Yisrael, and different reasons, and therefore the laws of Truma, Maisa, Shemitah only apply midrabanan today, rabbinically speaking. I mean, our Torah doesn't. There are those Rishonim who say that the Kedushas Haaretz, those laws are only drabanan. However, Kedushas HaMikdash, even though there's no building, that still retains its Kedusha. And that is the opinion of the Bali Tosfos and the Rambam. The Bali Tosfos have a special Gzeras HaKosov, a special limud they learn out from. Actually, a pasuk in Parashas Bahar, the Gemara deduces it from. But there's the status of Batei Arei Choma. There's the status of walled cities. And a Metzora can't enter. You have to eat certain types of karbanos there. We know there's halacha of Kriyas HaMegillah. It's based on walled cities in the time of Yoshua ben Nun. The Gemara wants to know what happens if it's a walled city during the time of Yoshua ben Nun, and now the walls are destroyed. It's no longer a walled city. Does it retain its status of a walled city? So the Gemara has a special drasha, Asher Lo Choma, that and it's a discussion. The Baal Kori has to know what the kavanah of the pasuk is, that there is a custom, even though there's no wall today, but Lo Choma, Lamed with the Vav, that we treat it as a Batei Arei Choma. So Tosfos learns out from the Gzeras HaKosov, some type of special limud, that even though there's no walls up in the temple, nevertheless, the Kedushas HaMikdash remains. In fact, that's why we talk about on different days that the walls of Yerushalayim were pierced and other things, because the issue of Batei Arei Choma. But the Tosfos writes, Gzeras HaKosov, that we go ahead and we treat it like a walled city with its kedusha. That's Tosfos. But the Rambam, he gives a much different answer. The Rambam gives an answer. He says there's a fundamental difference between Kedushas Ha'aretz and Kedushas HaMikdash. It's probably similar to Shabbos, Kedushas Shabbos versus Kedushas Yantiv. By Kedushas Ha'aretz, so Yeshua came in, did Kibush V'chilak, Ezra did Chazaka. They came in, was based on human intervention, based on Ezra and Yeshua endowing it. And therefore it's like Makadesh Yisrael V'Hazmanim, the Jewish people bring in the Yom Tov. If not for the Jewish people, then there wouldn't have been Yom Tov. While Shabbos, whether you like it or not, come Friday night, sunset, Shabbos is with us whether we like it or not. The Shabbos is an inherent Kedusha. So the Rambam says something similar. He says by the reason why the Kedushas HaMikdash remains, even though we don't have any walls anymore, is because Hashchina Eino Bata. You could destroy the walls, but you can't take away the divine presence. And therefore, the same Kedusha that was there with the walls, the similar Kedusha remains today. So that is the opinion of the Rambam and Bali Tosfos. And the Rabbi disagrees. The Rabbi says, "Hanichnas ata ein inach chayav kares." You enter the Makam HaMikdash today, you're not chayav kares. So what exactly is the Rabbi arguing on? Is he just arguing on a technical law? He's saying it's asur, but you're not chayav kares, or he's saying it's mutar lechatchila? So that we'll get to in a second. Machokas, how you learn the Rabbi. But how did the Rabbi know that he's right? Whatever the Rabbi is saying, how did he know he was right? That there is no Kedushas HaMikdash today. So the Rabbi writes because when they built the Beis HaMikdash, Ezra, he writes, but it's also probably Shlomo, they realized that is only going to be temporary. It wasn't going to be permanent. So therefore, they only Makadesh it Lizman. They only sanctified it temporarily. And that's why the Kedusha falls off. So when he says, V'nigla li, so the Rabbi was a Makubal, was into Kabbalah. So it says, V'nira li, how do I know? God told me. That's how I know. However, Rav Kook has a different version. V'nigla lo is referring to Ezra. Not that the Rabbi had Ruach HaKodesh, but Ezra did. So whether it's V'nigla lo or Nigla li, the Rabbi still says what he says. And then we have to find out what he says, but he argues on the Rambam about something. So the way the Meiri learned, Meiri never, I don't know if he went there, but he writes that the practice was that after the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed, people did go up in the Makam HaMikdash, implying that he says the Rabbi really argues. Fundamentally, that according to the Rambam, Yechayev Kares, if you go up there, according to the Rabbi, it's Heter Gomer. So those are two extremes, and then we have a middle shita. In fact, Rav Zolti in the Mishnah Yaibet, he's bothered by if what the Meiri's pshat in the Rabbi is correct, you would have thought that the Rabbi would be a little more clear. He would say, and since today we don't longer have any Kedusha, Laficha, Heter Gomer La'losa Harabayas, something like that. Instead, he says, Anichnas Ata, you go, no, you're not Chayev Kares. Like, it seems to be very vague, and so, therefore, that's the Chazon Ish's tain on the Rav Chaim and the Rambam a lot, or the Briskers, that the Briskers have a diak in the Rambam, and from that a tremendous Chiddush Halacha comes about. So the Chazon Ish's tain is, if the Rambam wanted to say such a big Chiddush, he would have spelled it out. So either way, so whether you accept the tain or not, that seems to be a similar, that's what the Rav Zolti raises here. And therefore he says it can't mean it's a mutar lechatchila, and therefore he goes on to explain as follows. He says, the two places the Torah talks about the Torah talks about the Isser for a tummy to go on the Harabais. One in Parashas Chukas and one in Parashas Naso, I believe. And if you look in Parashas Chukas, that talks about, it mentions the Chi of Kares, a penalty of Kares. But in Parashas Naso, it doesn't mention Kares. So Rav Zolti explains as follows. He says, when do we say it is a Yechai of Kares for going up by the Makam HaMikdash? That's only when the Beis HaMikdash, the walls are up. When the walls are up, then it's a full-fledged Kedusha, Yechai of Kares. But when there's no more walls, of course the Kedusha is still there, like the Rama, Shkina Eino B'Teila, but the Rabbi says it's a little lower level of Kedusha. It's a Nechnas Ata, Yinachai of Kares. You only violate a lav, you only get makis for going on Bizmana, but you wouldn't be Chai of Kares. So, according to Rav Zolti, the Rabbi is Machalek. So what is he? It's a much more local Machlokes. He fundamentally agrees with the Rambam that the Kedushas HaMikdash applies today. So what's the Machlokes? The Machlokes is, according to the Rambam, there's no difference between now and when the Beis HaMikdash was up. It's the same Kedusha and Yechai of Kares. According to the Ravid, it's still, the Kedusha is still there, but only together with the bayis, with the structure, that it takes on a Chi of Kares, but the Kedushas are Ritzpah, even though it's Kaddish, it doesn't entail a Chi of, it's only a Chi of Makkah. So that's how Rav Zolti learned the Ravid here. And interesting, there's a Ravid similar, I mean, nothing to do with Tameh and Mikdash, but it has to do with the laws of Tumas Kohanim. That, again, there's a Machlokes Rambam and Ravid, and it's unclear what the Ravid Shita is. The Rambam holds that even Bizman Hazeh, even though all Kohanim are Tameh, and they're in the Avi Avos Atuma, nevertheless, each time you come in contact with the corpse, you are over a lav. And the Ravid disagrees. So the question is, what does he disagree on? So, some say he disagrees fundamentally, that he says it's Hetzer Gomor now for a Kohen to come in contact with a corpse, because he's Kamei Meis anyway. And then together with another Machlokes, whether Tumas Olel applies to a non-Jew, so based on expect Sveika, people want to be Meiko on different areas. However, I think the Noda Yehuda points out the Ravid elsewhere in Timim Deim says like the Rambam. So it's a Machlokes within the Ravid by Tumas Kohanim, whether whether the Ravid says it's mutter to come in contact with the dead, or no, it's an Issa Daraisa, even according to the Ravid. All he says is you're not chayiv makis, but you can still violate an Issa Daraisa. You can violate Ritzicha without getting capital punishment. You could kill, let's say, a fetus or a Gavra Ketela, so therefore the fact there's no onus doesn't mean that it's mutter. So getting back here, so we have three shitas. We have the Rambam and the Bali Tosas that hold it's the same Issa Daraisa with the Chi of Kares. Within the Ravid you have the middle shita that it's an Issa Daraisa with the Chi of Makis, the way Rav Zolti, and then you have whether Meiri seems to learn the Ravid its head to go. How do we paskin? So where will we find it? So Allah Almighty at the end of Hilchos Tisha B'Av, the last siman, the Magen Avram, who lived in the 1500s in Poland, who was only talking theoretically. He wanted to know, could a Tame go on to the Makam HaMikdash? So he gathers up the list of Rishonim, and he thinks they're like the Rambam, that Rov Rishonim hold they're like the Rambam. At least Misafik, anyway, Safik Daraisu Achumra, one should not go on the Temple Mount. The Mishnah Berurah came after him, he lists even more, and he also comes to the same conclusion. So, it seems to be, that's the psak that we assume there is Kedushas HaMikdash, whichever pshat, either maybe it's like the Rambam and maybe no one's cholek, but either way we assume there's Kedushas HaMikdash, either ben according to the Rambam or according to Rav Zolti and the Ravid, and hence one should not walk up into the place where the Makam HaMikdash, one should not go on the Temple Mount today.